Hello friends, how are you all? I hope you're doing great and taking care of yourself. It has been really long time we haven't been connected with each other, but I thought this series will connect me with you again. What is this series about? We will get into nut and bolts of it in next few seconds. But before that, I want to share a story which helped me to evolve myself as an SRE and learn the top 10 AWS services, which from my experience is used across the banking, financial industry, manufacturing, insurance, etc. So when I started learning AWS, I was really confused and disheartened that whether do I need to really learn all these 200 plus services of AWS. The answer to that question was no. Over a period of time, while working as an SRE role, I figure out that these are the top 10 services which every DevOps or an SRE should learn and should master them. And what are these 10 AWS services? We will be learning in this video. But before that, if you are new to this YouTube channel, I basically try to share my experience on DevOps tools, cloud certifications, etc. Recently, I completed a Docker series for beginners. So do go and watch that, and do not forget to hit the subscribe button to my YouTube channel as well as get notified whenever the new video has been uploaded by hitting that bell icon. So without much further delay, let's get started. So friends, what are you going to learn from this series is the top 10 AWS services which are used across banking, financial domain, manufacturing, insurance, etc. And these are number one, the EC2, which is none other than compute engine of the AWS. The second one we are going to talk about is the simple storage service, which is used to store your Terraform state files, log files. It can act as a backup for your files itself. And we are going to touch base about different life cycles of S3. Also, how can you trigger the S3 event for Lambda? The third one is the identity access management. This is the door which will allow you or a person to access the AWS services. We will be talking about roles, groups, how to create the user, also HCP in AWS orgs. The fourth one is the VPC, which is none other than Virtual Private Cloud, which helps you to set up your private network inside AWS and controls the flow between various services, internet and on-prem. We will be talking about security groups, routing tables, network access control list, VPC pairing, transit gateway, and the most important, subnets. The fifth one is the ECS, how you can run your container on the AWS, and it is through none other than Elastic Container Services. We will be talking about different types of how can you set up the ECS container through Fargate, through underlying compute engine, which is EC2. We will be talking about task definition, service auto scaling, and as well as before even running the container, you need something called as a elastic container registry integration. So we will be talking about that as well. The sixth one is very important from the observability perspective. Now we have set up VPC, we have set up ECS, we have set up our EC2. Now we need to measure the metric of it. What is the CPU utilization? What is the memory, etc. And also we will be setting up some dashboards, alarms using the CloudWatch. The seventh one is important, thing called as a relational database. Most of the industry, banking, financial industries have their application on Oracle, and how you can migrate that Oracle application or the database to the AWS, and which is none other than through RDS. So we will be talking about that. The eighth one is the Lambda. Now you want to run certain functions or certain steps, but you don't want to manage those servers, underlying servers, and for that it's the Lambda. It is called as a serverless service. Run the code without managing the servers, perfect for automation, event driven tasks, and the glue code. So we will be talking about this, then how you can basically get your CloudWatch metrics for the AWS Lambda. The ninth one is the Route 53, which is the domain name system and the route traffic routing. So we will be talking about latency based routing, failover records, private hosted zones for internal services, and the health checks of it. It is one of the core important, and it is needed when you are moving from production A to production B, or failovering your application from the regular production server to the failover server. The last one is none other than but the application load balancer and application gateway. So we'll talk about application load balancing, routes the http traffics to your services, and what is, when should you use the application load balancer versus the API gateway. So we will be talking about application load balancing, target groups, listener rules, path based routing, API gateway stages, etc. So by the end of this series, you will be not only learning the foundations, but you will have the hands-on experience of all these services we have talked about, as well as the real-time production knowledge. If EC2 goes down, where to look, what to check. If ECS container if the elastic container services is restarting the containers again and again, what is the issue of that. You will learn everything on this, and as well as set up the observability using the CloudWatch. So I am too excited to share this series and learn with you and be a part of this series and the journey. I hope you too are excited, and if yes, please let me know in the comments. Until then, take care. Bye bye.